you didn't quite expect to be. So my first want to kind of introduce uh, my overview for this quarter. First of all, we're going to talk about you are here, and you'll stick with me. That'll make sense in just a moment. But next week, we're going to look at an overview of the entire book of Ezekiel so that we can kind of get a framework of the movement of what God is presenting, what he's doing, and where he's taking Ezekiel and the people. We also have it broken up into various chapters, and I did not share my screen. Thank you. One moment. Okay, this is what I am talking about, although you couldn't see it. I think everyone can see the screen at this time. So, this is how we're going to frame this quarter, and it's going to be a lot of reading. As you know, there are like 48 chapters in the book of Ezekiel, and we want to get through the entire book, but we want to make sure that we deal with it in an appropriate way. I've got to get my second screen back together here for a moment. Um, let's move on. O Lord, don't rebuke me in your anger, nor discipline me in your wrath, but be gracious to me, O Lord, for I am languished. Heal me, O Lord, for my bones are troubled. Many times this is where we find ourselves, and if we can't understand that in this uh, world today, I don't know where you've been for the last couple of years, but sometimes we have to figure out, where are we? I've been in many places, and you see this little sign, and it says, "You are here." Sometimes, as we study or as we contemplate our life situation, we need to just take a pause and just figure out where we are at the time. As we study the book of Ezekiel, I want you not only to recognize where he was at that time, as we look at where he should have been. Also, question how he got there, and also question how we got to where we are right now in this country. Many of us, with coming from the African diaspora, we find ourselves in this country, and we are so American that sometimes we forget where we came from. Sometimes we enjoy the pleasures of being in Ohio, and before you know it, we start acting like Buckeyes, and we forget sometimes where we came from. But sometimes we just have to look at our situation and figure out, how did we get here? How did we get here in 2022 in Ohio, in a pandemic, in a Democratic president, with a Republican governor, with uh, where we work, in the whole 9 yards? Sometimes we need to just sometimes figure out where we are and how we got there. Here's something about Ezekiel. He came from God's people. He was a priest, which, if you understand the priesthood, that means he was from one of the sons of Levi. And he had a particular job he needed to do. And as a priest, he had the ordinance of doing the sacrifices and doing and conducting God's business. And he had an obligation to teach the people how to respect God and how to do things the way God wanted done. But as a prophet, he also had the word of God that he had to disseminate among the people. And with it, one of the things that should have been paramount on the people's mind is over here in Deuteronomy. I don't know who I have on that would be willing to read for a couple of moments, but I'm trying to set the stage of Ezekiel and where he was at the time. Who do I have? Is there anyone who's willing to?
I'll read
Thank you, Bill. Uh, if you get if you get started, I'll keep up with you here.
Deuteronomy 28 1 through 14. Now it shall come to pass, if you diligently obey the voice of the Lord your God, to observe carefully all his commandments, which I command you today, that the Lord your God will set you high above all nations of the earth. And all these blessings shall come upon you and overtake you, because you obey the voice of the Lord your God. Blessed you shall be in the city, and blessed you shall be in the country. Blessed shall be the fruit of your body, the produce of your ground, and the increase of your herds, the increase of your cattle, and the offspring of your flocks. Blessed shall be your basket and your kneading bowl. Blessed shall you be when you come in, and blessed shall you be when you go out. The Lord will cause your enemies who rise against you to be defeated before your face. They shall come out you one way and flee before you 7 ways. The Lord will command the blessing on you in your storehouses and in all to which you set your hand, and he will bless you in the land which the Lord your God is giving you. The Lord will establish you as a holy people to himself, just as he has sworn to you, if you keep the commandments of the Lord your God and walk in his ways. Then all peoples of the earth shall see that you are called by the name of the Lord, and they shall be afraid of you. And the Lord will grant you plenty of goods in the fruit of your body, in the increase of your livestock, and in the produce of your ground, in the land of which the Lord swore to your fathers to give you. The Lord will open to you his good treasure, the heavens, to give the rain to your land in its season, and to bless all the work of your hand. You shall lend to many nations, but you shall not borrow. And the Lord will make you the head and not the tail. You shall be above only, and not be beneath, if you heed the commandments of the Lord your God, which I command you today, and are careful to observe them. So you shall not turn aside from any of the words which I command you this day, to the right or the left, to go after other gods to serve them.
So this is what God has set up for the people of God, and Ezekiel. Yes, Ezekiel was one of those people that this was the blessing that God wanted to bless them with. But the problem right now is that's not where they were. They had disobeyed the Lord. They had come to a point where they didn't value the our trust in the God that had brought them out. The promises that were made to Abraham and to Isaac and to Jacob, they knew about them, but they hadn't internalized them to a point that the nation, this jewel that God had put together, had become fractured and split in two because some just wanted to do it their way. Under David, the kingdom was together. Under Solomon, it was together. But then here comes Rehoboam and Jeroboam, and the kingdom is split. And then you have the tribes to the north, those folks. And then you had the conservative tribes of Judah and Benjamin who stayed somewhat faithful. But then the Assyrians came, and then the Babylonians came, and now they're looking around, and where are they? And the problem is just that. You know, God gives us a lot of promises also, and this is just a kind of a preamble to kind of set the stage for what we'll be studying this quarter. Here we have Ezekiel about to prophesy to these folks because they have been captured and taken away. The promises God made said that people would come after you And they would come in one direction, but because I'm with you, they'll flee in seven different directions. But that's not where they are right now. We should, over the last couple of years, have asked the question, where are we? And I do mean with the Lord. I mean, we're in a pandemic, but God is in control of pandemics. We are in trouble, but God knows how to cause trouble to go away. We are in a condition where, look at us, we're on Zoom right now instead of in the building together. But God uh, is doing something with us like He did with Ezekiel in his day. And you'll see a comparison of that. And we want to always try to look and figure out, where are we at this point? Because I don't want to run out of time, but I do want to take us a little bit further. You see, in the first part of Deuteronomy, it said, if you do right. But listen what happens in the second part of Deuteronomy chapter 28. He says, but it shall come to pass, if you do not obey the voice of the Lord your God, to observe carefully all his commandments and his statutes, which I've commanded you today, that all these curses will come upon you and overtake you. Cursed shall you be in the city, cursed shall you be in the country, cursed shall you be in your basket and your kneading bowl. Cursed shall be the fruit of your body, and the produce of your land, the increase of your cattle, and the offsprings of your flocks. Cursed shall you be when you come in, and cursed shall you be when you go out. The Lord will send on you cursing, confusion, rebuke, in all that you set your hands to do, until you are destroyed and until you perish quickly, because of the wickedness of your doings in which you have forsaken me. The Lord will make the plague cling to you until he has consumed you from the land which you are going to possess. The Lord will strike you with consumption. We used to call that tuberculosis, but they used to call it consumption at some point. And with fever, and with inflammation, and with severe burning fever, and the sword with scorching, and with mildew, and they shall pursue you until you perish, and your heavens which are over your head shall be bronze, and the earth which is under your shall be iron. The Lord will change the rain of your lands to powder and dust. From the heavens it shall come down on you, and you until you are destroyed. The Lord will cause you to be defeated before your enemies. You shall go out one way against them, and flee seven ways before them, and you shall become troublesome to the kingdoms of the earth. Your carcasses shall be the food for the birds of the air and the beasts of the earth, and no one shall frighten them away. The Lord will strike you with the boils of Egypt, and with the tumors, with the scabs, and with the itch from which you cannot be healed. The Lord will strike you with madness and blindness and confusion of heart, and you shall grope at noonday as a blind man gropes in darkness. You shall not prosper in your ways. You shall be only oppressed and plundered continually. No one shall save you. You shall betroth a wife, but another man will lie with her. You shall build a house, but you will not dwell in it. You shall plant a vineyard, but shall not gather its grapes. Your ox shall be slaughtered before you, your eyes, but you shall not eat of it. Your donkey shall be violently taken away from before you, and shall not be restored to you. Your sheep shall be given to your enemies, and you shall have no one to rescue them. Your sons and your daughters shall be given to another people, and your eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all day long, and there shall be no strength in your hands. A nation whom you have not known shall eat the fruit of your land and the produce of your labor, and you shall be only oppressed and crushed and continually. So you shall be driven mad because of the sight of your own of the eyes. The Lord shall strike you with knees in the knees and on the legs with severe boils which cannot be healed, and from the sole of your foot to the top of your head. The Lord will bring you and the king whom you set over you to a nation which neither you nor your fathers have known, and there you shall serve other gods, wood, stone, and you shall become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations where the Lord will drive you. You shall carry much seed out to the field, but gather little in, for the locust shall consume it. You shall plant vineyards and tend them, but you shall not neither drink of the wine nor gather the grapes, for the worms shall eat them. You shall have olive trees throughout all your territory, but you shall not anoint yourself with the oil, for your olives shall drop off, and shall beget sons and daughters, but they shall not be yours, for they shall go into captivity. Locusts shall consume all of your trees and all the produce of your land. The alien who is among you shall rise higher and higher above you, and you shall come down lower and lower. He shall lend to you, but you shall not lend to him. He shall be the head, and you will be the tail. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon you and pursue and overtake you until you are destroyed, because you did not obey the voice of the Lord your God to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded you. And they shall be upon you for a sign and a wonder, and on your descendants forever, because you did not serve the Lord your God with joy. Listen to this. You didn't serve the Lord your God with joy. You didn't serve the Lord your God with joy and gladness of heart, for the abundance of everything. Therefore you shall serve your enemies, whom the Lord will send against you, in hunger, in thirst, in nakedness, and in need of everything. And he will put a yoke of iron on your neck until he has destroyed you. The Lord will bring a nation against you from afar, from the ends of the earth, as swift as eagles fly, a nation whose language you will not understand, a nation of fierce countenance, which does not respect the elderly, nor show favor to the young, and they shall eat the increase of your livestock and the produce of your land until you are destroyed. They shall not leave you grain or new wine or oil, or the increase of your cattle, or the offspring of your flocks, until they have destroyed you. They shall besiege you at all your gates, until your high and fortified walls, in which you trust, come down throughout all your land, and they shall besiege you at all your gates throughout all your land, which the Lord your God has given you. You shall eat the fruit of your own body, the flesh of your sons and your daughters, whom the Lord your God has given you, in the siege and desperate straits in which your enemy shall distress you. The sensitive and the very refined man among you will be hostile toward his brother, toward the wife of his bosom, toward the rest of his children whom he leaves behind, so that he will not give any of them the flesh of his children whom he will eat, because he has nothing left in his siege and desperate straits in which your enemy shall distress you in all your gates. The tender and delicate woman among you, who would not venture to set the sole of her foot on the ground because of her delicateness and sensitivity, will refuse to the husband of her bosom and her son and her daughter her placenta which comes out from between her feet, and her children whom she bears, for she will eat them secretly for lack of everything, in the siege and desperate straits in which your enemy shall distress you in all your gates. If you do not carefully observe all the words of the law that are written in this book, that now that you may fear this glorious and awesome name, the Lord your God. Then the Lord will bring among you and your descendants extraordinary plagues, great and prolonged plagues, and serious and prolonged sickness. Moreover, he will bring back on you all the diseases of Egypt, of which you were afraid, and they shall cling to you, and also sickness and every plague which is not written in this book of the law will the Lord bring upon you until you are destroyed. You shall be left few in number, whereas you were like the stars of the heaven in multitude, because you would not obey the voice of the Lord your God. And it shall be that just as the Lord rejoiced over you to do you good and multiply you, so the Lord will rejoice over you to destroy you and bring you to nothing, and you shall be plucked from off the land which you go to possess. Then the Lord will scatter you among the people from one end of the earth to the other, and there you shall serve other gods, which neither you nor your fathers have known, wood and stone. And among those nations you shall find no rest, nor shall the sole of your foot have a resting place. But there the Lord will give you a trembling heart, failing eyes, and anguish of soul. Your life shall hang in doubt before you, and you shall fear day and night, and have no assurance of life. In the morning you shall say, Oh, that it were evening. And in the evening you shall say, Oh, that if it were morning, because of the fear which terrifies your heart, and because of the sight which your eyes see. And the Lord will take you back to Egypt in ships, by the way of which I said to you, You shall never see it again. And there you shall be offered for sale to your enemies as male and female slaves, but no one will buy you. So my question is, where are you? What questions do you have at this point? See, Ezekiel and the people of God were taken away. But because God didn't do these things immediately when they did wrong, they thought God forgot his promise. They thought God was slack concerning his will. Like some men count slackness. Well, it didn't happen to my fathers. It didn't happen to their fathers. Well, God must not have meant it. But guess what? God is true to his word. Now, as we study Ezekiel, we'll see some interesting things, and we're going to go over an overview of the book. But there are some really great images in the book. But when we look at what's really happening, I believe we can see a little bit more of how God works in this world. I don't want to go much further than this, but this passage I read to you in Deuteronomy is something that you have to know where the people started from and know the intent of God to find out where they were. And also, we need to make that same assessment in our lives to know where we are. Many times we like to ask the question, where was God? But when in fact, it's not where it's God, it's where are we in God's plan. So, over the next couple of weeks, we're going to, let me roll back up to this slide. In the next couple of weeks, we're going to really do an overview. I wanted to do a prelogue to uh, the study of Ezekiel by reading that in Deuteronomy. But we're going to talk about an overview of the entire book next week, and just kind of give you how it's put together and some of the things that we're going to be studying. On third week, we're going to talk about the appearance and the likeness of the glory of the Lord, and I think we should have some fun there, understanding what those chariots and all of the images were all about. But until that point, we hope that you continue to study with us. We hope to kind of enlighten our understanding of where Ezekiel and the people of God were, how they got there, but how they got out of there. Um, what questions do you have? I'm looking at the chat. I don't see any. And I'm going to kind of close out here. This is the short week. It's just getting back into town. And we are going to continue this study. And we invite you for a bit of a homework assessment next week. I know it's a lot of reading, but if you get an opportunity, read the entire book of Ezekiel. Because when we do that, hopefully you'll have some questions and we'll be able to gain a greater understanding. At this point, I'm going to.
Brother Williams, hey,
Yes, sir.
can you go back one slide?
One slide. This one.
No, not that one. The other one that had the weeks
Oh,
and the topics for each week.
yes. This slide. Yes.
Yeah, this slide. Okay. All right. I was trying to take a screenshot.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, I'm good. Thank you.
I'll leave that up for a few moments more. I'm sorry. Is that any better?
Yeah, that's good. Thank you.
Okay. Want to go into our announcements. We're at the beginning of the year. We're working toward our annual church meeting, but we are also looking to make sure everything runs well. I want to thank personally those who were with us or were here taking care of things while we were away. Uh, Applaud to Sister Johnson and also Sister Flowers for assisting in keeping things together. Brother Vince, we appreciate your working with them, and everybody did a stellar job. We are going to ask if there are any announcements. If no announcements, I gave you the homework for next week, which is basically read all of Ezekiel, all 48 chapters. Some may want to get the audible book and listen to it, but either way, if you will, we'll get started and keep things going from there. Brother Ford, I believe you have prayer
Well, Derek,
requests.
I
Yes.
did have one announcement. I just put in the chat the scriptures for Sunday's lesson. So if people didn't have those are some of the scriptures we'll be talking about and discussing on Lord's Day, if the Lord is willing.
Yes. I do not see that, bruh. Did you send it?
Yes, I did. I thought I did. Hold on.
Okay, I was looking at the chat.
Okay.
There we go.
Now,
There they are.
Yeah.
Excellent. Brother Ford?
Amen. I want to thank Brother Williams for that background there. I know that Ezekiel has a lot of context. We'll be back in Ezekiel on Sunday. More importantly, chapter 3, as we look at what it means to be bitter but called. So I want to turn your attention to that as we kind of tag team this text and continue to move through it. But as far as prayer requests are concerned, just asking that we continue prayers for improved health for Brother Jones, that's Sister Lambert's father. Also pray for Jeff Fellner and family. The household is dealing with COVID. Also pray for Jason and Alicia Clark as well, dealing with something similar. Also be with Sister Kimbrough. She's asked for prayers for her granddaughter, Cassidy, She's going to a specialist at the Akron Children's Hospital for intestinal issues. Also be with Sister Marcia Dow, who was admitted to OSU. And then also we have a praise report. The Flowers have welcomed a granddaughter. So over the holidays, they were able to travel east and come back safely and have an addition to their family. So praise God for that. Those are all the prayer requests that I do have. It's good to see everybody back here safely. I know that we have a number of families that are dealing with COVID-related issues during this time.